A couple of words about the British series, The New Statesman, which was on British TV from 1987 to 1992. It was during the reign of during when the Labour Party was ruling England. So it was more or less an expression of oppositional views. This TV series depicts a career of a totally rotten in character and behavior British member of parliament, the Conservative member of parliament, Alan Bustard, pretensionally named with the apostrophe in his name, B apostrophe start, but also depicting his character that he was a total bastard. And he is presented in somewhat contradictory way, because he is presented as a middle class man, and in the same time he has some pretensions to be upper class man. He has a upper class wife, for instance. So his character is so rotten that he's full of contradictions. Of course, the comedy is was really hilarious, but it doesn't change the thing that it's very one-dimensional ideologically. It's not really a grotesque of political life. It's more Labour Party propaganda. Why it is so? Because in early episodes we have seen also some MPs who are not politicians, who are not Conservative Party politicians, and they are depicted sometimes also as very unprofessional and inept. For instance, there are some very crude and rude Labour Party politicians, not very bright and so on. And so in one scene, in one episode only, it's the other type of politician is presented from the centre left Liberal Democrat Party, who is bluntly saying to his Conservative and Labour colleagues, members of Parliament, that this party, Liberal Democrats, has no idea whatsoever how to rule Britain. So maybe so we can see that he is indirectly saying that maybe it's a good thing that the other party is ruling Britain in this time. So, but in the later episodes, we don't really see any members of parliament but Conservative ones, and they are always depicted in derogatory and negative way, as totally cut from the needs and the everyday life of their voters. The only exceptions could be Madame Thatcher herself, who never her face. She's a little bit demonized when she's talked off, but when she's presented, she's always with her face covered by some administrative documents, so she's at least hardworking, presented as hardworking. But in other episodes, she's crushing nuts with her own hands, so she's a little bit demonic also in some other episodes. So we have a TV series made by usually left-leaning actors and film producers and so on in every country, but especially in English-speaking countries. It is so that the film and television people are usually more left-leaning. So it's a little bit from one time. It's like they have presented some politicians which are not of Conservative Party, and they have presented them negatively also, but they very early they have resigned of this idea, because it would be too objective, and they wanted really a subjective, so it seems, TV series. So it's reminding me of one sketch made by Rowan Atkinson, by no means a very lefty himself, but he has made once a sketch about a Conservative Party back to power in Britain, and he said that as this conservative MP, he has said that he said conservatives are back in power. What a wonderful word! So he's and he said that he says nothing about Hindus, for instance, but and he likes curry. But when we have the recipe, maybe we don't need them in such a huge number anymore because we have the recipe for curry. So so well, of course they are. Immigration more skeptical when it comes to immigration than the left-leaning parties. So that was a good grotesque. But as to the back in power and what a wonderful word, it's word. It's funny actually because it's the left-leaning party which are so drunken with power usually, because being at power is their raison d'être, because they are more than right-wing parties, because left-wing parties really need power. They don't make any sense of existence without power. They need power to implement their radical and courageous or courageously stupid sometimes social programs. So they want to remake society all the time. So they need power, and they are really power-driven. And the right-wing politicians, of course, they like power too, but they are more drawn to not to power itself, more to law and order. So law and order and tradition and so on. So they are more passive, and so we have here, as well as in the New Statesman TV series, we have an example of a projection of left-leaning worldview on right-wing TV or comedy characters, which is very interesting, isn't it?